Hello, Charlie TCG here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm breaking out my top 5 rogue archetypes for the Stellar Crown format. These are the decks that are a little bit under the radar, the ones that can still keep toe-to-toe with the meta, but probably be better suited for your locals, whether it be a League Cup or League Challenge, and potentially a Regionals if you definitely understand the meta very well. These are the decks which definitely had a huge boost from Stellar Crown, whether they be brand new or existing archetypes that you can finally bring out from the binder because they actually are a little bit more relevant now. And right now, I want to break down my number 5 pick, which is a brand new deck, which is the Cinderace. And Cinderace EX is so powerful as a brand new Stellar Terror type Pokemon. It has 2 attacks, but this deck we're going to really focus on the first one. 280 damage for fire and double turbo energy. The only caveat is you can't attack next turn. This is a massive amount of damage you can deal pretty much effectively as early as turn 2, which is really powerful. And you have some great fire support. You also have the likes of the Armoroots, you have Magma Basement, and that brand new Crispin as a really good energy accelerator supporter. So how exactly is my deck kind of looking? Right now I'm focusing a lot more on the build that's similar to like Azul, and also what I've kind of seen through testing, as well as also looking online results as well. And I really am a big fan of this one. With the picture, it gets it so easy to get the set up. What I love, you kind of have the similar basis of how Charizard Pidgeot is built, similar to what's kind of translated over to the likes of Dragapult, but kind of like going with the heavy counts of Arven and even heavy counts of Iono. It's a really good disruptor capability, also drawing into your cards. I still love having Rotom and Forest Hill Stone. The combo pieces can go with the likes of Pidgeot X is absolutely incredible and can really help your setup. One thing I find could be quite difficult is to get these big one-hit kills. That's why the likes of Choice Belt, Maximum Belt, and the likes of Kieran are really powerful. So Cinderace can actually hit these massive numbers, as you need the Choice Belt to actually one-hit KO a Regigigas or even like sort of a Palkia and V-Star in the format, which definitely something to be a bit more considerate. I also love having a 1 copy of Radiant Charizard as a really good secondary attacking option, single prizer to potentially off-price price trades, and I think it's really strong. Yes, you could argue the likes of Greninja to help set up, the likes of Magma Basement, but I really like having a Charizard as well. You have plenty of discard effect with the likes of Ultra Ball and Earth and Vessel, and after one Cinderace is actually kind of being KO'd, you already have that instant fodder as well, and it's all you need to do is search out the Double Turbo with Pidgeot. I'm a big fan of this deck. I generally think this could see pretty good success as it has a really good HP, really good attack number and relevant numbers, but having a water weakness when a lot of a hype deck right now is like Palkia, and I generally think Shimpao could be pretty good as well. I generally think this might be a little bit reluctant to play it at a regional level. Number 4 pick is actually the return of Regis, and we've seen a lot of hype, and people love the Regigigas sort of style deck. It's a really good single price attacking option, and really did get unlocked by the release of that new Joltik. Joltik, if you don't know, has one of the best energy acceleration right now in the new game, pretty much taking 4 energies from your deck, instantly put them into your Pokemon in play, which is so powerful. And you can unlock and have a larger bench size of the areas that are under par by having your Joltik evolve into Galvantula if it survives the turn, or even better, have the Cornerstone Marks Ogerpon, which is really powerful, has a really good disruptor capability against your opponent, but also can extend your bench size. This is very much a good sort of version of Bliss, having multiple different sort of basic energies, and effectively if the areas that are under parts out in play and you have 2 Regigigas, you can potentially use their ability twice if you have all the Regis out, which I think is really strong. I love here having a higher count of the Galvantula because I think Galvantula is so powerful. It has a really good attacking option, and generally think it's really strong, especially with that HP. So it could be very much difficult for them to get big one-hit KO. Ogerpon as well is really good to store out your opponent, but also kind of go through anything. Also, Night Stretcher is one of the cards which is completely missing. Instead of relying on the likes of Super Rod and getting Nestball to bring it back onto the bench, you could just go Night Stretcher and instantly get the Reggie, which was knocked out, to fuel up to attack again with Regigigas and fuel it up. I generally really like Regigigas going into this new format. I know lots of people love Reggie, so potentially we could see it kind of return, but it doesn't hit those relevant numbers it used to. But again, like I mentioned, we're bringing it out from the binder, and I think it's really strong. Speaking of decks bringing out from the binder, Darkrai. Darkrai never really had its time to shine. Yes, I believe it did win a regionals last year, I believe. I really love playing Darkrai, but it didn't really get as much of the hype and love which I've seen about it. And honestly, with the release of Trapagos in areas that are underparts and Glass Trumpet, this is exactly the card that Darkrai was completely missing. The idea is you pretty much can get the Trapagos out and play, you just use Glass Trumpet to your Trapagos, and pretty much have this massive Trapagos with a ton of energies on there, and Darkrai can get these big Dark Pulse one-hit KO potential. Just looking at the star list here, we can see that we also have the Knocked Out and Rotom Fan. Rotom Fan is really good as a single price attacking option if you're against likes of Charizard, Dragapult, or any of these 60 HP starting Pokemon. This Rotom, because you've got to potentially have in areas that are underpass in play, just gets an instant one-hit KO, which I really love. And also having a glass trumpet, having a higher count speed with a high count of energy, you can flood the board very, very easily with a ton of energy. One of the only scary things is potentially is not having enough more energies in your hand and discard power and not having them at all in your deck. Well, that's where Dark Patch comes in handy. Playing 2 copies of these instead of the full 4, I think is absolutely warranted because the only Dark Pokemon you are playing is Darkrai. Yes, I know you do want to kind of have those energies available to you, but if it gets into KO, you can Dark Patch and then use the Sour Biscuit to reuse and get them back again. Double Super Roll as well makes you want to shuffle them all those answers back into your deck to reutilize them like some Glass Trumpet. You have a ton of draw in this one, and Noctowl again really unlocks the deck, but get any of your combo pieces you might really require. This deck may look very, very simple with sort of card limits, but I generally think this could be a lot of fun very fast. Only caveat is it is a stage 1 Pokemon, a V-Star, but I generally do believe it could actually be a much, much powerful archetype. And apologies if you actually hear some thunder going on right now. There's a little bit of a storm happening in London. Now, my number 2 pick actually goes to Hydrapple, a brand new archetype as well. And I generally think this is a really, really good card. We have already seen the really huge success of Ogerpon, and even in my own locals, seen it with the Cinderace and that sort of style deck by having a ton of grass energies. And this Hydrapple, it is a necessary additional step. Obviously, you have a great match against Zard, and Zard is looking to be one of the strongest decks right now. Even with the like of Raging Bolt, which is looking again in Japan, if we looked at last week's results, was going to be the most dominant archetype. I think this Hydrapple can really keep up with that one by having a single prize on the active, and then you also have 330 HP. Very difficult for them to actually get these big one-hit KOs. You just have an amazing energy acceleration through Hydrapple, through the likes of Ogerpon. So you just play a ton of energy in the archetype. It's 18 energies. What is this? We know it's like a pre-release deck or like a starter deck, which you kind of get. But you can see the immense draw power this deck has to offer. With Pheasantipity and Mew, we are going to have quite small hand size because we just got to draw through a ton of stuff and it's constantly attaching energies. So Mew's that amazing draw factor in the late of game. So where's Pheasantipity? Pokemon are going to be KO'd left, right, and center, so drawing through additional cards is so strong. Bug catching sets gets us that grass energy. It's where it's also all of our Pokemon except Mew, Manaphy, and Pheasantipity. The Briar as well, where it's a huge unlocked capability for Ogerpon. We're obviously going to flood a ton of energy, making sure that Ogerpon get these big one-hit KOs on anything kind of goes across in the field. So effectively, if you go single prizer, 2 prizer, and all of a sudden your opponent potentially goes 2 prizer, 2 prizer, you just win the game that way, which I think is so strong. Scoop Out Cyclone to reset the sort of the hand and draw additional more cards is really, really powerful and kind of like healing it as well. The only downside is you might go, oh, well, I don't play Arvin to guarantee to draw any of the item cards, but there is so much draw power in this deck. It's so aggressive, so strong. You're going to draw through nearly everything. This is going to be a very, very fun archetype. And generally, I could see it have some success if Charizard is going away being one of the strongest decks in the Stellar Crown format. And my number 1 rogue archetype is Zoroark. Now, I love this deck when this was out a few years ago, and I think this is really, really powerful. Taking Curse 50 damage times amount of Pokemon with damage counters on this one, with Gate Drill Bog, and the Gengar was so, so strong. But now for these Trapper Ghost, and also we have a massive sort of bench as well, along with Noctowl as well. This is really, really strong. With Rotom Fan as well, you can get all your own Dotrios now. So Dotrio has amazing draw power, but also putting damage counters on yourself as well. You can search for all of them with the likes of Rotom Fan, which I absolutely love. In Area 0 Underpass, make sure Zoroark can hit these big one-hit KO, potentially even 400 damage, which is so, so strong. This sort of build as well kind of like focuses on kind of like bringing out all your sort of key Pokemon as well, and then move around the damage counters from your Gengars to all of your guys with damage pump. You can see here there's no Gate Drill Bug, there is no Charger Bug, there is no Radiant Pokemon at all, but I generally think this is a really, really strong build. I was really pleasantly surprised when I was doing some testing over a few weekends ago, and generally do believe that Zoroark actually has a place in the metagame. I think it could be very fun. I generally think it could potentially be a meta deck if it kind of like warps into right space. The only downside is having 270 HP. It's very easy to be one-hit KO by Charizard because unfortunately hits that relevance of HP, which it can actually deal with. One of the things you might notice is we only play 3 Gengars instead of 4. I generally feel like you only need to have ever 2 on the bench, so I don't think you ever need more than 3. In my testing, I played with 4, and I felt that was too much. I generally think 3 is perfect. The 4 copies of Area 0 Underpass is an absolute need, necessary need, and I also really love having the Psychic Energies as well. Kind of like how you attack the single prize of Trio because they can hit 280 damage, which is really, really strong. One thing you might notice is there is a Capturing Aroma 3 of this likes of Great Ball, and Great Ball you could argue could have a good sort of scene as you're going to be drawing into a lot of your Pokemon anyway, and in the top sort of side as well, especially like Rotom Fan. But I generally really like having 3 copies of Capturing Aroma, just kind of like guarantee you might get your Gengar or Zoroark you might really acquire, or potentially even the Noctowl and get any sort of card you might need to have. Unfair stamp over the likes of a Prime Catcher or anything like that. I really love the disruptor capability that Zoroark can really have to offer. One thing it can really struggle with is the likes against Charizard Pidgeot. If you just can boss up the Charizard or Pidgeot, KO it with an unfair stamp and have the necessary prize trade reduction, it can be really difficult then to have a respond KO. And that's one thing I love about Zoroark. It is very fun, very fast, very aggressive, and you can also attack with Trapagos for 240 damage, which again isn't too bad as well. So let me know what you think of my top rogue archetype in the Stellar Crown format. I'm going to be back in just a few days' time to talk about the most competitive archetypes from Stellar Crown. And definitely some of these picks you will not be surprised to see around there, but potentially the order about where they're in could actually cause some sort of kerfuffle. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have, please make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below, what is your favorite rogue archetype from Stellar Crown? I generally think this is one of the biggest shakeups for a format, even in a set which hasn't got a ton, which I think is really, really exciting to see, and Trapagos really adds so much to the format. So, my name is TCG, and I will see you guys soon. Bye for now.